Get started. You ugly motherfuckers ain't finna be mocking me while I'm on motherfucking stage. Like straight the fuck up.
Nigga, suck my dick.
And gangsta boo.
Suck my dick. Me. What the fuck?
You a hater. Busy ball, you a hater. You must didn't take your pills. You weirdo ass nigga. Fuck wrong with you, bitch ass nigga.
Hey man, real station shit. You already know what the fuck going on. So the fucking 3-6 Mafia, Bone Thugs and Harmony fucking verses right now. So in honor of this shit going on, I gotta fucking talk about the story that Juicy J basically talks about, and him basically saying that 3-6 Mafia were a bunch of crackheads. He basically goes into detail in a new interview with Nas and another person, I forget who exactly he interviews with, but he basically goes on and talks about how 3-6 Mafia was a fire group and it was like responsible for a lot of the like music and funk sound that was in Memphis, but it also inspired a lot of like drug use in the lyrics, and I talked about a lot of weird shit like drug use and all types of crazy shit, and everyone kind of figured, and no one really knew about whether it was like a story and they were just kind of making it all up, or if it was like true, like real shit that happened. But in this new interview, Juicy J basically talks about how 3-6 Mafia, like they had issues staying together because they were all on drugs. Some of the drugs that he highlights in this shit is like meth, fucking heroin. I think he says crack at one point. If you listen to the songs, they all kind of make sense because this nigga basically talks about like a lot of drug use, and there's a lot of different like themes and shit throughout the songs that kind of continue about all types of drugs they're doing, like bitches licking their booty holes and shit like that. Like weird stuff, you know? Like, I guess that shouldn't really be a surprise when you listen to the songs and the subject matter, but I never really would have thought that these niggas were doing like heroin and meth on some Kodak shit, like admitting it in the music. I mean, Kodak admits to saying he accidentally did meth with fucking like Molly, but like these niggas apparently were doing actual drugs and shit, man. Speaking to Nas, he says that he basically did the craziest drugs that you could possibly fucking do. Nas asked him like what type of drugs that he's done after he says that drugs really broke 3-6 Mafia up. He said the wildest drugs. You already know it's not a good fucking sign when niggas say the wildest drugs, man. Cause there's like when you're doing drugs, that already kind of is saying that you're wild. So it's kind of like a fucking it's kind of like a redundancy saying wild drugs, you know? Like saying wild drugs is already like next level. Like there's like drug categories. You got like weed, and then that's like a category I would say is not even really like that crazy of a drug, and alcohol. I'd say those are the same like category. Now when you step up to like coke and like fucking ecstasy and acid, I say that's another category. When you go to like ayahuasca, DMT and shit like that, that's a whole nother category. And then when you go to fucking like crack, meth, like that's a different type of category and shit, where it's just like no point of no return and shit. So these niggas are already starting off by saying that they're doing the wildest drugs, so that's already not a good sign. Like this nigga said, from heroin to meth to cocaine, all kinds of pills. This nigga said all kinds of pills. Niggas didn't differentiate between the type of pills they were doing. They were just like, fuck it. Like, if I see it, if it's stamped, if it's a pill, I'm on that shit. This nigga said all types of pills. A lot of drugs were consumed during the times that we were together. And everybody was sober and shit. Everybody's on the same page. But when cocaine's involved, things change. But I'm not pointing fingers at nobody. See, that's already a crazy ass statement in itself. So these niggas were basically functioning crackheads. And it's a thing. I feel like a lot of celebrities are probably like that. So it's good that they're probably admitting it. But it's definitely some next level shit, being addicted, full-fledged addicted. And I've been around people who are addicted to cocaine and like did that type of stuff. And like that shit is really like, it makes you like a crazy person. Like these people go through like different types of like episodes, and it like really it could bring out mental illness, but you have different moods. That person that did it, like they'll change they'll be happy one minute, then they'll be sad the next minute, angry, and it's like your mood swings are crazy. Like whatever mood you're feeling is times 10, especially when they're in between doing it and they're really off the stuff that really hasn't messed up. So his statements make sense. As the group's member Crunchy Black said in a past interview in Vlad TV discussion that Juicy J would find other members of the group if they were allowed to get drugs in the way of their work. Of course, that isn't the only story circulating around the end of the group. Like, he even goes into detail to talk about one incident where he had to, like, burst into Lord Infamous's room. He says, I had to bust in Lord Infamous room before and I was almost in tears. They said to the late group member, I thought the nigga was dead at first, so I had to go get the keys because he wouldn't answer the phone. I was banging on his door, so I had to bust up in his room and pretty much beat him with a pillow to wake him up. That shit crazy, man. Like, it really be going that deep. Like, these niggas really be off the drugs, especially it's not just them. It's like artists in general. Hella artists be doing that, touring all the time. They get bored and want to fucking pass the time and traveling and do shit, and then next thing you know, you have a full-blood drug addiction, and it's not right, man. These niggas, it's honestly amazing that they're still alive. Now, I don't know if Juicy J really did all that shit, but it definitely makes sense in the past behavior in this verses and shit. Like, these niggas could still be on the drugs. I don't know. These niggas were tweaking on this stage about to fight fucking Bone Thugs and Harmony, man. That shit is geeking, man. But hey, real stay safe shit, man. Let me know in the comments. You think these niggas are still off the shit, or you think those niggas gave up the habit? And how long can you be fucking off the shit before you're not a functioning crackhead and just a crackhead? By the way, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and go cop my shirts. Link in the description, bitch. www.staysaferworld.com. Yeah.